We're almost at the end of this book. And then I'll start on the second book. This is what we're doing. And we're not at the end yet. I think I got, well, I'm not completely done yet. But let's go ahead and read this one. We get everything all situated, so knock everything down. Part 4, Story 7, Sarah Laughs Too Soon. Excuse me again. Yeah, that's what it says. Sarah Laughs Too Soon. Abraham was now so sure that somehow or other he must have a son that he talked the matter over and over again with Sarah. As a result, they agreed that he should marry Hagar, Sarah's maid, an Egyptian woman. In doing so, Abraham made his second big mistake. He should have waited a little longer for God to work. Yes, I know he waited a long, long time, but God was testing his faith for a purpose. He was to become known as the father of the faithful, and God wanted him to be a perfect example to who should come after him. Now it was too bad. Hagar bore him a son, but that didn't help matters at all. God had no intention of letting this boy, Ishmael, be Abraham's heir. He agreed to bless him because he belonged to Abraham. But the promised seed, he said, would never come through him. Although 13 years went by, Abraham was now 99 years old, nearly 100, and still no son by Sarah. Surely it was hopeless now. Perhaps he had been mistaken after all, but that star that seemed to be coming straight towards him, perhaps God had meant something quite different. How often he must have been tempted to doubt. Then one day God spake to him again, saying, A father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful. Then God mentioned Sarah, poor old wrinkled Sarah, who is over 90. I will bless her, he said. I will give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. This almost was too much for Abraham. His faith had held up until now. But, well, Sarah? Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto a man that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, that is 90 years old, bear? Yes, he laughed. And when he told Sarah, she laughed too. Maybe God smiled too, knowing what a surprise he was going to give them very soon. And a surprise came out all right, just when last expected, and when it seemed altogether impossible. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and she bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken unto him. Thus was Isaac born, the son of promise, indeed of many promises, and great was the rejoicing in the camp of Abraham. We can hardly imagine how happy those two dear old people must have been after waiting for so long. No wonder we read that Abraham ate a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. Weaned means he stopped. Uh, Basically, he was a little too old to suckle on his mom. That's a nice way of saying it. Okay. He had something to celebrate in a big way. And I like to think that in the midst of the feasting and rejoicing, when all the people from far and near were crowding around to offer their congratulations, Abraham lifted up his heart to God and said, "Thank you, dear God. Thank you for my baby son. This is this is our first speck of dust, our first tiny star." And Sarah, I can hear her saying as she held her baby tight in her arms, You were right, dear Lord. You were right after all. There is nothing hard for you." And then, of course, it has a nice illustration. Don't say who it's by. Well, it did in the first. And there it is. And the next page, we go to the next story. And we'll see you in a bit.